Video store clerk who collects more than just late fees, a mirror that shows you something you don't want to see, and a filmmaker who's spent the last several years building one of the quietly most respected names in indie horror shorts. Jakob Owens has directed, shot, and produced a library of horror projects that punch well above their runtime. And along the way, he's built a $25,000 short film contest that has become a launching pad of sorts for the next wave of horror filmmakers. Today we go inside two of those projects, Late Fees and Mirror Man, and the process behind it all on this episode of Industry Interviews on the Beneath the Bloom podcast. Beneath the Bloom Industry Interviews, episode 3 with horror short film director Jakob Owens. I'm sorry, yeah, go
I
for it.
don't know if I've ever had that intro before. I kind of like that,
You
because
liked it?
usually people are just like, yeah, like filmmaker, creator, entrepreneur, this, that. So like, horror film director is a nice little change of pace.
Yeah, I feel like, when I was talking about it with my other co-host on our other segment Keeping Up with Indies, and when we were analyzing late fees, we were saying that like that's how I came across you, like just on Instagram feeds, was like the horror
Mhm.
shorts. So yeah, late fees is kind of built around a killer hook, a video store clerk who collects the souls of patrons who forget to
Yeah.
return their movies on time. Um, where did that concept come from, and what made you want to build a short around that specifically?
I think two things, one or three things actually. So, funny enough, Tom and I, my co-founder in Prism Lens Effects, we have a company called Prism Lens Effects, and we were building out, or when we were going to build out our very first store in LA, we wanted to do something just different. That wasn't like you popped up and it was a typical brick and mortar and there's just glass cases of your products, or I don't know, just something traditional. It's like, what can we do that's just almost like an experience when you come and
Right,
like
yeah.
stop into the store. And we grew up in the 90s going to Blockbuster to rent our movies. So I was like, oh dude, what if like people like would come to like Blockbuster to rent or buy our filters. And so the initial idea was like when we were building it out was to be kind of the just a fun experience storefront for our filter company in LA. And then obviously, as we're building it out with any of the sets that we build out, because we have a bunch of like sets and film studios in LA as well and Arizona,
Mhm.
we were just thinking like as we're building it out, oh, what are we going to shoot in here? Because every time we end up building a set, we end up either doing a photo shoot, video shoot, short film, etc. And so we started plotting on like just like a fun short film idea of like, okay, what if someone comes to return their tape late, but they have to pay with their soul? And
Yeah.
just kind of the also the play on like nobody reads the fine print. You could be selling your soul and signing your life away on these documents that you see. It's like, oh, terms and conditions. And you're just like, yep, check, like move on.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of the idea started spawning as we were building it out of like obviously return or the late fees when you're returning movies always sucked and it always felt like they were getting you. And then also the whole like terms of conditions thing. And then also
Yeah.
just playing into the idea of like these kind of AI chat bots as well. Like when you feel like you're trying to get customer service or get help and you just like feel like you're constantly talking to a robot. It's like, no, it's just so frustrating. And so
Yeah. When Kyle Harvey or Kyle just like
yeah,
goes up and like he's talking to the video clerk, it's like this, like what? You're like,
yeah.
this is not a conversation. Like this is
Yeah,
just
like
like
why are you
automated.
talking like that?
Yeah.
It's just like this something's off. Like, dude, like what's going on here? So, and that was
Yeah.
like, yeah, not that because this came out before Backrooms, the film, but there was
Yeah.
like Backrooms inspiration in terms of just like the liminal nature of the store and having it
Yeah.
feel kind of very liminal and dreamlike and nostalgic and like something that like obviously is familiar, but yeah, a
Just a
little
little off
little
too, right?
off.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so for
Like
sure,
there's
for sure.
nothing out of place. Like I noticed
Yeah.
that. Like he
It
like
was like
walks
very
in.
pristine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That
it
was fun. It was fun to like, you know, build like start with the idea of the store for our store and then just kind of
yeah.
roll that into the film and see that all come together from because that room that store is in was disgusting and
Really?
it was just oh, it was gross. And so
Yeah.
see what it was and have all those ideas come to life and then ultimately end up in the, on screen as the short film. It's pretty, I was talking to Tom about it. I was like, one of the more satisfying top to bottom, like little indie projects that we've done for sure. Because it's not like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
we had this idea and we rented a location and shot it. Like, no, everything about that short, the world, the story, like we built, which is kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Yeah. And it feels like it was like it came like from a very genuine place. Like you were saying, like it just even talking about like late fees, the title and just the idea behind it all. It's not just that it's like a liminal space or a callback to the 90s, but it's like even for myself, like growing up as a kid, I remember like that anxiety of even if it was a book of like,
Yeah,
holy shit, like I gotta get this back to the school library
yeah,
before the end of the school year or my mom's gonna kill me. Like
yeah,
I feel like that we don't get that as much anymore, obviously, because things are just moving more and more online.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, and then also the just the way I think it's a little bit of like a commentary on the way customer service has just even in
yeah,
like the human form gotten more robotic. Even when it's
yeah.
not an AI chatbot, it's like people don't want to talk to you or you're put on hold forever. And then like, someone picks it up and they're like, let me talk to my manager. And it's like, okay, like who is anyone like here like really like
Uh,
to work with me?
exactly, and that's exactly where like I want to give credit to the writer Nick too, because it was like when we
Yeah,
were talking about it and I kind of pitched in this idea because I writing isn't my strong suit. Like I'm great with
yeah,
conceptual and ideas and then reworking it, but like I was like, dude, yeah, we need this to feel like that frustrating conversation you have when you're like trying to like get a hold of someone or the customer service, or even if you do get a hold of a human, it is so scripted by the way they have to handle the customer service. It doesn't even feel human, and so I feel like he did a really good job kind of like bringing that to life.
oh yeah,
And so yeah, and then some of it was just also just in the acting, like Vinny,
yeah.
the guy that played uh,
Oh man,
Eric. He did such a good job, and it was so important. Dude, bless his heart. The whole time I was like, you cannot blink. Like
yeah,
I want someone to rewatch it or watch it the first time and go like, did he even blink? And then rewatch it and be like, no, he never even blinked. So like subtle things like that to just were important to us when shooting. And so he just over and over. I mean, he's just having to not deliver this performance, never blink, and also kind of hold
yeah.
a smile. And just as we're going through, and it was so hot in there in the dead of summer, and we couldn't have the AC on, so his mouth
God,
started cramping up, and in between takes was trying to like jaw stretches and like his eye, like so it was like as simple of a kind of a performance as it may look, just being behind the counter there, like he did such a
no,
good
I could
pulling off that character. You know what I mean?
talk to me a little bit about like as you said, it was a space that you guys ended up using for your own company, but the kind of set design process behind it all, because you said it was like looked like shit like as soon as you got in there.
Yeah.
But by the time you make the film, it's pristine. And I think, in my opinion, I would assume you agree with me. That's a like the set design is almost like a character within itself.
Mm.
So like if that didn't come across, or if you could tell like a part was coming down or whatever, it wouldn't be as good as a
Yeah.
film in my mind. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it had a very, I mean, that was intentional too, is we wanted it to feel very like symmetrical and just clean and sterile. And like, we didn't want it to feel lived in or like, yeah, it's a, little mom and pop shop. Like, we wanted it to feel just very, you know, yeah, I don't know a better word to describe it other than liminal, and
yeah.
so, yeah, I think we did a good job. And I think it plays into the whole, you know, concept and story.
Kyle Harvey stars alongside Vinny in the film. What went into casting Kyle for this role, and what did he bring to the part that you didn't necessarily expect going in?
So I've worked with Kyle a bunch. I directed a lot of his early music videos coming up, and that's how I know him. He's a very, very talented artist, but he's a great actor as well, and has been in a few. He even had his own Netflix movie, The After Party, several
Oh
years
yeah.
back, and has been in a few things since then. And he's always been a good actor, and I recently worked on a short with him. But when we wrote this one, I knew I wanted it to just have a comedic vibe and element a little bit to it, not be over the top comedy, but I wanted it to be a little funny. And he's just a naturally funny and charismatic guy, and so I had initially thought of him for that role, and I just sent him the script. I was like, "Yo, like I see you, playing this role. You just let me know if you want to or not." And I sent him the script. He's like, "Dude, I'm down." And so that was that. So
Yeah,
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 like Vinny, initially we had someone else kind of casted, and then I was just like not all the way set on that role yet. I was like, I feel like something's missing. And then I had worked with Vinny before, and he's a dancer, so he's has like a very like can be very like robotic and move that
yeah,
in a way that like I think is just as much as like an actor needs to maybe act with their face or have voice inflections or whatever. Like I felt like his body acting could be like what I needed it to be as well. And so I
yeah.
had hit him. I was just like, hey, would you want to like potentially be in this? I think I already have someone. We pretty much have someone already cast, but I can see you playing this clerk Eric role. Do you mind like sending me like a 1 minute, like tape read, self tape? And
Yeah.
he sent it, and I was just like, oh, dude, yeah.
You talked a little bit about this, but there's an obvious like nostalgia element built into a video store setting. How much of that was about tapping into like a specific car aesthetic versus telling a story that just happened to like live in like a video store? Was it always part of the plan that it was going to be like a horror kind of short?
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's like too much of a horror. Like it's not like super horror. Like yeah, there are horror elements,
Yeah.
but I mean, I personally that's like just my favorite genre is like kind of thriller horror. I'm not a big like cut 'em up slasher type horror
Yes.
film lover. It's more of like the slow burn like uneasiness stuff that I really like, and so yeah,
Psychological.
yeah, psychological, and I've that's what Late Fees is probably now like one of 15-ish horror short films that I've done over the last probably 10 or so years. I usually try and at least set time aside to do at least like one a year, and I host a horror short film contest every year, and then I make one of like a short film to not only promote the contest, but like it's like if I'm going to challenge you guys to go make one, I'll make
Yeah.
one as well. And so yeah, I always make or lean to making like horror short films. And
Yeah.
this one, yeah, did something a little different compared to if you were to go watch the rest of like the catalog. It's a little lighter, a little more comedy, a lot more dialogue heavy.
Yeah, talk so I might be throwing this one as to you as a little bit of a surprise, but Mirror Man was one of your earlier shorts.
Hmm.
Looking back on it now, what do you see differently about that film compared to how you'd approach the same concept today? There's something that you would do dramatically different?
Probably just try and spend less money. I feel
Yeah,
like on a lot of my earlier shorts, even before that one, I think that was kind of the one that marked where like I started spending like too much on shorts because I got comfortable with like, oh, that's just where I'm at in my career and life. I have to have the big lights and camera and crew to like make a film. And looking back, it's like I probably spent way too much on that one that I didn't need to. And then, even every short after that, it's kind of been that same way. And it's like that's the one thing I think I miss is just a lot, that I used to do early on in my career or was able to do is just the more like guerrilla aspect of filmmaking. But it was also in a different time and place where, just all of the people around me just wanted to make movies and collab on something and be a part of something. And so everyone just got together to make something. And now it's like if you want to make something, it's just like at least where I'm at, it's like you have to pay everyone. So it's like it adds up quick.
yeah,
Uh, and even to the simple things of like I think there was a couple of VFX shots in there that like I didn't know how to do VFX, so I had to hire a VFX guy out. That was like pretty pricey just to do like two or three shots. And so
right.
uh, I think I really like how that one's like shot and
Oh, I do too.
together and colored and paste and like there's not much I would like change about it. Other than yeah, maybe trying to do it spend
Yeah, but
spend less
yeah, I
money.
was gonna say, but it sounds like that from that, or maybe even late fees itself. It's just that you're like adjusting how money is being allocated for your films and
Yeah,
stuff.
I feel like people, for the most part, filmmakers will, or even photographers, right, have like a very specific style and look that all of their work follows. And I don't know if mine does that because I feel like each story like deserves its own look and style. Like if I were to
Yeah,
shoot late fees a different way, like how I would have shot, something like
even late fees.
my Stranger short film. Like I just
Right.
don't think it works because like the Strangers film that I did, which was a fan film, was shot to look like the original, to feel like the original, and it was very kind of raw and handheld and kinetic. And I don't think that works for late fees because late fees, the whole thing was like back rooms, clean, sterile.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I really wanted to visually like convey that with like these center punch frames, locked off shots. I didn't want to shoot it like traditionally coverage over handheld or whatever. So it's like for me, I always go into every project and like, okay, what does this story like? How does it deserve to look? Not like how do I fit this into my style?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's probably typically my approach to every project I do.
Because
Is like, how should this be shot or told, and not forcing it to be told the way that I would like. I don't know.
like
I don't
someone
know
else
if
would
that
want
makes
or
sense.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it totally does. I mean, I was thinking while you were explaining that late fees wouldn't have the same effect if you did it in a one shot take. It
No,
just
no, you couldn't. The same
it wouldn't
thing.
be as creepy and unsettling.
Yeah, and you would miss certain facial cues and recognitions if you're like moving and floating over one guy's shoulder. He says something, you can't get Eric's reaction. So it's like even going into that, as much as I love to shoot stuff in longer takes and one takes, I was like, yeah, this one needs to be a little more traditional coverage, but we'll just do a little
You
more
need
center
you
punch,
need
back
the
robot kind of frames
yeah.
and whatnot.
Let's go back to the horror short film contest.
Yeah.
What made you want to build that instead of just making your own work? Was that just like on a spur of the whim decision?
The horror short film contest started as just a fun YouTube challenge, like for my subscribers, like back in 2018.
Hmm.
And I mean, I've always loved just horror movies, shooting my own horror short films. And so, yeah, it was like around spooky season that I was just like, oh, it'd be fun. I just made a horror short film. It's like I'll challenge my subscribers to go make a short film. And it's like I just launched the Jakob Owens horror short film contest, and I had like first, second, third place. There was like some prizes, nothing, crazy. But
Yeah.
first year, I think I was like, I'll be happy if 15 films are submitted because it's not easy to go make a film. And so I was like, dude, that would be crazy if even that amount of people went out and made a film and submitted it. And I think that very first year there was like over 150 film submissions. And I was just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
that's crazy. And it was like everyone was like messaging me and just like, dude, this was so much fun, blah, blah, blah. And so then I was like, well, I got to do this again next year. And it just has like kind of slowly every year ramped up. And it had always been like an online contest only until about 3 or 4 years ago, where I then was like, okay, now I'm going to have like an actual event, screening party, award show for the top films. And so held that for the first year where
Awesome.
there was like a top 10 film screening party, the top 10 films of the contest. And obviously people like flew out and came to this event and we screened the films. The filmmakers got to get up and answer questions or talk about their films. And it's also like a Halloween party. Everyone dresses up in costumes. And so it's not so like stuffy. It's like a fun event, breaks down the walls and gets people to meet and just enjoy films, and then awarded the films. And after that first year of doing that, it was just like, wow, I got to do this again, but even bigger and better next year. And so it's just like every year, just kind of slightly trying to scale it up and grow it. And it's just, I think to date, over 1,500 short films, have been made and submitted to this thing, which is cool because
Wow.
they're actually being directly made because and for of this contest, not just submitted because they made a film and it's like submitting to it, because there are specific rules that I drop every year that
Okay.
people have to follow. So it's not like you can just like, these film festivals where you've made a film sometime that year or the year before and you just are submitting it to all these festivals. It's like, no,
Click, 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 click.
there's a
Yeah.
specific guideline, like set of rules that every film must follow,
Oh, wow.
creating this kind of challenge, this contest element to it. And so, yeah, all these films, yeah, over 1,500 now over the last 7 years. This will be year 8 that I'm hosting it this year. Have
Mhm.
been made because of this contest, which is cool. It's kind of mind blowing to think about.
In general, is there something that a winning entry or like a top 10 entry has that others might not, or that like something that you're specifically looking for your film contest?
Just something that hits all categories across the board. So it's like there's like every year it's like we're judging it on like usually like 5 to 6 different categories, which is just obviously like the story.
Hmm.
Obviously it's a horror film contest, so like scare factor. Then there's like the creative use of the rules because
Yeah.
just like how creative did they get with those constraints and those rules, and yeah, then like overall production value. And so there's like a few different categories that every film is like just like basically 1 through 10 kind of graded on, and then
Hmm.
ultimately it just gets whittled down to the top 10, top 15, and then we have like a panel of judges that come in and independently score and or watch and score them all, and then we tally up everyone's scores, and then that usually provides us with the first, second, and third place. And then I have auxiliary categories too that our team will just internally like um, you know, judge and pick for those prizes. But it's very much like a giant passion project that I do
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
it's really like you're giving back too. So it's like you're inspiring other people to make their own
yeah, and it's
horror
inspiring to
story.
me too. Like I see
Yeah.
some of these ideas and films, I'm like, damn, that's
Yeah.
so like such a good idea, or like it,
Yeah.
yeah, it lights a fire under me to do more or come up with like new and different ideas. And it's cool, like I mean that's how even I met Nick, the writer of Late Fees, was through the
Oh
contest.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so
okay, cool.
like I was like, he made one of the top films a couple years ago, and I was just like, dude, the writing on this was like so good. And I was just like, yo, I'm planning, my next film for next year already. Like I have a couple different ideas. I'm gonna send you. Do you mind if I send you like these 2, 3 ideas, and you just let me know which one you like best? And
Yeah.
want to write something? You want to write something? He's like, yeah, I bet. And so I sent him a few ideas, and he was like, yo, I really like Late Fees. Like let me write something to this and see what you think. And he sent me a
Yeah.
sketch back. I was like, dude, yes, this is so it's cool. Like the contest, I mean, I know there's people that didn't know each other before this contest that are now like, internet homies and like
Yeah, yeah.
great to see each other, or are actively collaborating from a distance or locally. Like it's cool to see how it's brought certain people together, and myself included.
What is next for you? Do you have any like plans to move any of that stuff into like a series format or like would you ever want to do a feature film?
Yeah, I mean that's like my big focus right now, I guess, or goal is feature film making, and getting
Hmm.
one of these shorts picked up, greenlit to become a feature. I've had some meetings and talks with some big people at producers at some big studios, and it's like kind of the shorts have opened those doors, well,
Yeah.
100%. And so that's what I think I also like why I love hosting this contest is not only it gives me a reason to make a short every year that continues to like potentially open those doors, but
Hmm.
other people as well. And I've seen, yeah, what short films can do in terms of opening doors for me. Nothing has fully landed yet, but I wouldn't
Right.
have had these conversations or meetings with these people had I not
Yeah.
done these shorts. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just that's kind of the focus is continue to do these, the shorts and develop the feature ideas. The big thing that I need to find a writer to turn these ideas into feature scripts, because I think that's the
Yeah.
like roadblock that I keep running into is like with all of these studio execs is like love the short, love this idea, do you have a script? And it's just
Yeah.
like, no. And then like that's
Yeah.
happened not just once, but like 3 times now where I've gotten far along, and it's just like, love this. Where's the script? And it's like,
Yeah.
don't have one. And so that's probably the next step for me is either financing one on my own or finding a writer that is, willing to take on kind of that, sweat equity and have ownership and just, do it and then continue to build the festival. I mean, I have like a pretty big goal and ambition where I'm like, there's this year is the first year that I'm trying to like actually like build like a horror brand around
Hmm.
the contest and stuff moving forward because I've always just self-made finance these shorts, just upload them to my YouTube channel or post snippets to my Instagram, and I have like this huge catalog of shorts. But I also have 7 years of running a horror film contest where there's over 1,000 original ideas coming through this pipeline that I've created. It's
Yeah.
like there's definitely something there to build out like a indie horror incubation kind of platform
Yeah.
development, like a production house that like, especially with some of these meetings I've had, like I don't know, there's something there. So I'm trying to like this
Yeah.
year start building like a brand, and I just locked down the website and the Instagram, and I think this year I'll start trying to like promote that, and you know even the film that I made posted on that YouTube channel, that Instagram, and then even personally fund a short film for one of the winners of this year's contest that
Oh,
will be run through that platform. You know what I mean? It'll
right.
be executive produced by Jakob Owens and
Yeah.
that brand and company that I'm going to be launching.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see more about it. And thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.